Emma Thompson had always had an eye for antiques. When she finally moved into her dream Victorian apartment, nestled in the heart of the old city, it seemed only fitting that her decor matched its historical charm. The apartment itself was a marvel. Tall, arched windows, creaky wooden floors, and high ceilings adorned with elaborate moldings. But the real prize, the centerpiece that completed her vision, was an ornate, full-length mirror that she found in a dusty old shop tucked away in a back alley. The mirror was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its frame was made of dark mahogany, intricately carved with swirling designs that seemed to almost pulse with life. At its top, an inscription in a language she didn't recognize was engraved, worn and faded by time. The glass itself was pristine yet slightly foggy, as if it had been touched by an ethereal mist. The shopkeeper had given her a strange look when she asked about the mirror, muttering something about old stories and bad omens. But Emma dismissed it. She was too enamored to care. The first night she placed the mirror in her hallway, she felt a chill in the air, a sensation she wrote off as nerves or perhaps excitement. The apartment felt colder than usual, and as she walked past the mirror, she felt an odd twinge in her gut, a strange feeling as if something had flickered just out of sight. She paused, glancing back at her reflection, and for a moment she could have sworn that her face looked off, like her eyes were a shade darker, her skin slightly paler. She shook her head, laughing at her own paranoia. It was just a mirror, nothing more. Days turned into weeks, and the strange occurrences around the mirror became harder to ignore. Emma would catch glimpses of shadows moving behind her, only to find the hallway empty when she turned around. Sometimes at night, she would wake to the sound of faint whispers, echoing from the hallway, like dozens of voices speaking just below a whisper. She convinced herself it was just the wind or the old pipes, but a part of her couldn't shake the unease that had settled into her bones. One evening, while brushing her hair in front of the mirror, Emma noticed something that made her blood run cold. Her reflection was delayed. As she moved her hand to adjust her hair, her reflection moved just a second slower. She stood frozen, staring into the glass, her heartbeat thudding in her ears. Her reflection slowly lifted its hand and placed it against the glass, a dark smirk spreading across its face, a face that was hers, yet not hers. She stumbled back, a scream caught in her throat, and when she blinked, her reflection was normal again, mirroring her terror-stricken expression. Desperate to understand what was happening, Emma started researching the mirror's origins. She scoured old books, online forums, and even spoke to a few local historians, but none could tell her much. That is until she found an old newspaper article from the late 1800s. The article detailed the mysterious disappearance of several individuals who had all been last seen near a mirror with an identical description. The locals had come to believe that the mirror was cursed, trapping the souls of those who gazed into it for too long, slowly draining their essence until they became mere shadows within the glass. The story chilled her to the core, but part of her still refused to believe it. It had to be a coincidence, an urban legend, but as the nights grew longer, her dreams became more vivid, more horrifying.